will say this. I am excited for the season 8 finale, and not because I just want this season to be over, but because part 1 of the season finale was a ride. I told you it was both amazing and a cluster banana.
Of the Flash. I don't think you said the Flash yet.
Oh, sorry, the Flash. Yeah, sorry. Of the Flash.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys say about this episode.
So the Flash negative part 1 was amazing and a cluster banana. And I say that because they gave us so much and yet did the most in ways that did not benefit the story. But Michael, I'll let you go first as far as the start to the unpacking of it.
Well, not to repeat myself, but where to even begin? There was so much in that episode, and I don't think it was quite as seamless as Superman and Lois did. I think this is the problem with the fact we talked about how they have too many stories leading into this season finale. So they felt the need to stick them all in it. And you and me both know that there was one that felt completely out of place. But I will say that
Cecile, I saw the tweets.
Yes,
Cecile.
Yes, it's Cecile. It's Cecile.
I will come and fight for Cecile against the haters, but I do think the show has a tendency to write that character into a very corny corner, and they did it last night. It was like we had the Reverse Flash's love life with Mina, as everything's going great for them, but then the Forces showed up, it made it all darkness and despair. Meanwhile, Caitlin pops up and jumps into like a frozen chamber to turn herself into Frankenfrost or something. Darkness and despair. And then you've Cecile, I'm stealing people's meta powers and sticking them into somebody else. And you're like, this is completely out of place. The story is fine, but the complete change in tone from this finale that's full of darkness and despair to suddenly being all quirky and I'm getting superpowers just felt completely out of place. It didn't feel right at all. The fact that Cecile might be the most powerful meta in Central City, that's interesting. I know a lot of people don't like that, and on paper it sounds dreadful, but that could be interesting. We saw her in battle then with the Forces at the end. Yes, Cecile, give us that power, but like, let it have some stakes. But aside from that, I love the Reverse Flash at Mina stuff. Seeing Eobard happy for a change. He doesn't deserve it, but like this Eobard, like I let him have the world because he doesn't know what he did in his former life. Fast Track is fantastic. I just love her. I hope she's a series regular in season 9. Like that's how you introduce a character in 2 episodes that make her more important than the rest of the main cast. Sorry, Chester and Allegra. And then you have the Forces. I did not like the Forces in season 7. So now that we're doing the negative Forces, I'm on the fence about that, but at least it has stakes. I don't care about the Forces. Dion, I'm starting to care about, but other than our Gothic Queen, Speed Force Nora, I don't care about the other 2 Forces. I'm sorry. So I don't care about the negative Forces. But that ending when nice Eobard ripped his face into and evil Eobard was underneath, played by Tom Cavanagh once again. Like, did Sam Raimi direct this episode? Like that was that was body horror. Like I didn't expect to see that in the Flash. Although I will say, why did the old Reverse Flash suit turn into the new Reverse Flash suit just because the face got ripped off? Now that's not possible. But aside from that, the face, that was very violent for the Flash, and it worked in that moment. It's like a very like, here's Eobard kind of moment. It was just that moment. You see that moment at the end when Barry faced off with the Reverse Flash and the 2 of them face to face like 2 old arch nemesis. That gave me like series finale vibes. So I don't know why we're doing it in season 8, save it for season 9. But like all in all, the episode had great stakes, but there is one glaring issue with it, and it's not the Cecile arc. It was the way the Iris time sickness was handled. I'm so happy to see her again, but I'm not necessarily sure the cost was worth it. But I will let you take it from there because I've talked too much. So please, you'll say it better than I will.
So everyone knows, like, Team Iris was out here sitting and ready to see what they were going to give us. I really did actually like the beginning when she got to be with her kids. There has not been enough time where Candace and Jessica and Jordan all got to be in a scene together, just them. So I really loved seeing the kids try to save their mom. But I did have to laugh a few times when they were like, Dad can save her. Like, your daddy's not doing nothing. He's not doing anything but playing D&D and trying to help another speedster, which, I'm fine with him helping fast track, but you think this man would be doing things in the lab trying to save Iris, but he was not. And all that was good. It's just like, as she's sitting in the lab and she's talking to, is that Earth 3 Nora? I think that's Earth 3 Nora.
Yes. What's her name? No, Joan Garrick, isn't it? Jay's wife.
Yeah, as they're talking, and then she's realizing, like, I can see the future. I can see the timeline is changing, and like Dion just snaps and puts her like right in to the middle of Barry's lightning bolt blast. And I was like, so not only is she a pawn, which you revealed to us earlier in the episode, but she's a pawn that has to die. And I'm like, how many times must we see Iris West die on the Flash in such horrible,
she died
graphic
again?
ways? Oh, she's dead.
Yeah,
like dead, or like this is just a version of her that's
oh dead? She's not dead. Eric already hopped onto a podcast like I don't know how many weeks ago to be like she's gonna be happy by the end of the season. How that's going to be, no one knows, but she's not dead. I spoiled that. You know what? Y'all can just be spoiled. It's gonna be what it is. But we just don't know how she's gonna get back. She turned into Reed, just to give you some context, not context, a visual of what happened to her. She dies, and then she turns into green dust, and then she flies right into Eobard, and that is how you get the body horror breaking of the face version of Tom Cavanaugh's Eobard.
Can I just say, I think I've said this before, but whenever you guys talk about the show, it feels like the previous episode doesn't feed into the next episode. It just feels like a different show every week. And I mean no shade by any of this. It's just an observation that the character you guys seem to talk the least about is the man that the show is named after. And I don't know if it's just that he's barely in it or like he's like the least important currently, but I just find it funny.
So season 8 has been trying because Barry has not consistently been the lead of the storylines.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's crazy to everybody. It's been a complaint all season. The Iris stuff made it worse because in order to hide the fact that they probably didn't have anything. You know what? I'm just going to get a little real right now because I feel like it's necessary.
Do it.
So while I was watching, and this might not be the case, I'm not in the writer's room, but while I was watching and it was revealed that Iris was a pawn the whole time, I realized they didn't actually have an ending to the time sickness storyline. That like it seemed like they did it, and then they got through to the 4 episodes where she was going to disappear, and during that time frame they might have realized they didn't have content for how Barry was going to solve it. So what you get by this first part of the season finale is other people having lines that Barry having lines that doesn't make sense. So for instance, he says, I was wondering if Dion would be infected by Iris's time sickness. I don't remember that man saying that. And those not when he was with Dion, not like he was worried, I think, about what would happen in the Still Force because she was in it, but like I don't remember him saying anything about Dion maybe being infected by what's going on with Iris. And then someone pointed out something that felt true to me during the live tweet was that Iris's time sickness happened before he got rid of Eobard's powers. So how did the negative forces use her in order to, how did Eobard use her to get what he wanted? That doesn't make any sense.
Oop.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
We love a plot hole.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, that makes it worse in hindsight.
Just rocked Michael's world.
I had notes for this and this was not on it. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. I no doubt there will be something written in season 10 or whatever to try and make sense.
Manifesting a season 10?
I'm not manifesting it, but I'm predicting it. But yeah, that storyline has been a shambles, a complete and utter shambles. And yeah, I agree. Reed's right. Barry has been at the front and center of other people's storylines and never fully in his own. He hasn't really had a story this season, and that's the problem. As the longer these shows goes on, it becomes more about Team Supergirl, Team Arrow, Team Flash instead of about the protagonist, and thus their stories mean less and less. I will say that this episode felt like it had all the right ingredients. The problem is it was just working with a very messy storyline, and it did the best that it could. So all in all, that was a solid 8 episode for me. Probably the most stakes the Flash has felt like it had all season. But if it had the right storyline, it could have been a 10 because it felt like the Flash of old. But as long as it's juggling this time sickness nonsense, it's never going to be a 10 for me, because that's just like a big, it was a plot hole before we realized there was actually a plot hole in it. It's the weak link. And I say this as someone who adores Iris. It made me sad to see her on screen, because you're like, this is all you could feed her. She deserves far better than that. And it makes me feel guilty that I enjoyed the Flash more when she was off screen, because at least she wasn't getting lumbered with this dreadful material. Sorry, it's dreadful. Now that I was going to say now that she's back, but she went and died in the end of the episode. But like now, that death was great in the moment, but it didn't carry any of the stakes that her fake out death in season 3 did. It's really predictable that she's going to be back. She's going to come back somehow, and that's obviously good. We're happy about that. But everything just feels very surface layer at the moment, and I think it all stems from the fact that the time sickness storyline was a major misfire, and it's bringing down a season that has been otherwise pretty solid, not perfect, far from it, but pretty solid. And I'm intrigued to see how the finale juggles it now, because since it's as far as time sickness goes, that's over with. We could be looking at a very strong finale. I just hope it handles it right.
I hope so too, because we've been doing this for a while now. And if the season 8 storyline wasn't quote unquote time sickness, because it really wasn't the storyline, but that's what they kept telling us. That I feel like I'd feel better about the season 2, especially if Iris was given something and Barry was giving worthwhile storylines. I mean, he had his moments. I mean, for instance, in this episode, his talk with Mina was really nice. Mm-hmm. I thought every time they have Barry work with a new speedster, I love it. Mm-hmm. He's so good as a mentor, and you can see that Grant really loves those scenes. Barry revealed himself once again at this point, like the whole Central City is going to know.
It gave me flashbacks to when he revealed himself to Kramer, and then they did absolutely nothing with that storyline. So like, Amina's just got that storyline now. Like, I'm all for it.
True, and I guess they probably won't do anything with it after this as well. But then again, the way that she was screaming, which by the way was a mood, I like that she's probably like out of the speedster game. That was very traumatic to go through. That was like her love, and he's definitely gone. He's not coming back. But just to wrap this up, I think that I really want to see the finale, because I want to see how they bring Iris back. I want to see how Bart and Nora play into this. They're going to play fast and loose with the time again, because the fact that they're still able to fight with their father when their mom is gone, like when is time going to catch up to them? Because I think I saw like a day to night transition with the two of them, and that doesn't make any sense. The time, like, are we doing another? The timeline will, what's the word I'm looking for? Not set. The timeline will set in 24 hours type of thing, or are we just gonna be like hand wave it and they can just run around as much as they want to, despite the fact that it doesn't make sense.
Their timeline mythology has been wrong since season 3, and they're going to keep being wrong, but we'll roll with it and see how it goes. I'm just excited to see Team Flash back. Now, I mean, when I say Team Flash, I mean the Flash family full of speedsters. I can't wait to see Jay Garrick back, and I am looking forward to a big lightning battle in the end of the season, because that's what the Flash does best. And let it just give us one more match between Barry and the Reverse Flash, because we know that's where it's heading. If we get that and Iris come back, I'm happy with how the season ends, given how messy it's been.
Same. And if Candace Patton calls it quits, but her character is alive, I think I'll be okay. Like, if she wants to peace out, but she's good, she's happy, Barry and her are cemented, the future is all together. I wanted to see her pregnant on the show. That might not happen, but if she's got to leave, I understand.
I don't blame her.
Well, I wish you guys luck for the finale. I can't wait to hear about it.
And you will. Long monologues about it.